Look at the screen right now. It seems that your decision to click on this video came from a free and independent will. But neuroscience tells a completely different story. The famous experiment by scientist Benjamin Libet proved that the human brain makes decisions a full 7 seconds before the conscious mind even realizes them. The truth is, you are not the captain of the ship as you believe. You are merely a passenger sitting in the front, thinking you are holding the steering wheel. This leads us to a harsh scientific reality. There is a hidden system managing our lives in silence. Let's call it the background OS. This primitive system was designed since the dawn of history for one single purpose: to protect you and keep you alive. It silently records every trauma, every fear, and every trigger in its environment to create fast, automatic reactions. For thousands of years, this system worked efficiently to ensure our survival. But what happens when modern entities discover how to bypass the conscious mind and speak directly to this system? In 2012, a bizarre incident revealed the true scale of this hack. An angry American father was shocked when his teenage daughter received promotional catalogs for maternity clothes from a major retail chain. The father went to complain to the management, accusing them of encouraging teen pregnancy and ruining his family's reputation. But a few days later, he returned to apologize. He discovered that his daughter was actually pregnant. How did the store's algorithm know before the father? And before the girl told anyone? The algorithm didn't spy on her messages. Instead, it monitored her background OS. The microscopic shift in her buying habits, selecting a specific type of vitamins, and a sudden preference for unscented lotions. The machine understood the chemical changes in her body and mind before her own environment even noticed. This story is not an isolated exception. It is the foundation upon which the modern world is built. Today's society no longer targets human logic to convince you of anything. It sends malicious codes that target the background OS directly. The design of modern cities, the fast-paced lifestyle, and endless work create a silent, terrifying isolation within the human soul. And when the background system screams out, searching for the tribal instinct to belong, screens and dating apps are handed to it as a magic solution. But these apps weren't built to find you a real partner. They were engineered with the psychology of the Skinner box, the exact same neural mechanism that makes a gambler addicted to a casino slot machine. Every swipe on the screen, every new notification, releases a calculated drop of dopamine, turning the deep human need for connection into a hollow addiction that deepens your loneliness more than ever before. This applies to the most intimate details of life. Modern advertisements don't sell smart devices or luxury clothes. In reality, they sell a temporary cure for a feeling of inadequacy that was pre-injected into the society's consciousness. The compulsive desire to buy a product you don't need isn't necessarily a weakness in your character. It is a programmed response to an environment that constantly pushes the buttons of fear of social exclusion. But if the solution lies in awareness, why does breaking free from this programming seem almost impossible? Why does the human mind fiercely resist the idea of waking up, even when the trap is right in front of it? The answer lies in the most dangerous update installed in the background OS, the illusion of identity. The modern system is no longer satisfied with controlling what a person consumes. It evolved to manufacture who this person is. In the 1920s, the American tobacco industry faced a massive marketing problem. Society completely rejected the idea of women smoking, meaning half the consumer market was locked out. To bypass this wall, companies didn't use logical ads talking about the quality of tobacco. Instead, they hired a man named Edward Bernays, the nephew of psychologist Sigmund Freud. Bernays didn't speak to the conscious mind. He aimed his strike directly at the background OS. During a massive parade in New York, Bernays hired a group of women to steal the spotlight, and at a prearranged moment, they lit cigarettes in front of the press cameras. Bernays didn't call them cigarettes. Instead, he leaked a carefully crafted term to the newspapers: torches of freedom. He successfully linked the act of smoking to the rising women's rights movement of that time. The conscious mind of society thought it was witnessing a political rebellion and a liberation movement. But behind the scenes, the code of the background OS was being rewritten. Bernays didn't sell a product. He sold an identity. He took a purely consumer habit and disguised it in the mask of independence and power. Within days, smoking went from being a shunned act to a deep psychological need for every woman wanting to feel liberated. This precise psychological engineering didn't die in the last century. It is the exact same engine running today, but at maximum speed through artificial intelligence algorithms. When a person finds themselves defending fiercely and blindly a specific brand, a political ideology, or a particular lifestyle on social media, they believe with absolute certainty that they are expressing their unique, independent personality. But in reality, they are reciting a script brilliantly fed to them by the new engineers of attention. The problem isn't a weak mind. The problem is that the system understood the deepest human fear, the fear of rejection and exile from the tribe. Therefore, algorithms created fake digital tribes built entirely on anger and polarization. They feed the background OS with continuous meals of content that validates its anger and demonizes the other side. The innate human need to belong has been weaponized. The system turns a human into a soldier fighting a war they didn't start, defending ideas they didn't create, to generate profits and data they will never own. The greatest trick these systems ever pulled was convincing the human mind that its programmed chains are actually an authentic part of its personality. And if even acts of rebellion, anger, and belonging are merely codes planted from the outside, what is left of the real human? And how can this fake identity be dismantled to reach the original core? Outro, you cannot free your mind before you understand exactly how it was programmed. To survive this system, you must first decode the code. If you liked this episode, subscribe now to The Human Code and wait for the psychological